Hello everybody and welcome back to the Little King story playthrough. It's time for the extras, because obviously we saved the world in the finale, and we had that really ambiguous ending that nobody's quite entirely sure what it means, which is all fine, but obviously there's still a few things that I need to show off. So this is the entire video archive. You don't get that last video until after finishing the game, I think. So it's kind of one of those where you're just like, oh! But it's fine, everything else is complete. So we're going to have a look at all of the wonder spots, all of the gems, all the songs, yada 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 yada. And that's pretty much going to take the form of this part, is looking through all of our special books, because we never really got time to just sit and focus on these things. And they are quite lovely and sometimes quite hilarious, really. So, yes, it's nice that you can have the time to just sit and experience these things, and what's actually quite fun is that once you've gotten these things, you can actually put them up in your picture frames around your castle. Obviously I didn't really do that because that would take absolutely bloody forever, because there are so many damn pictures at this point. But the whole gist of it is we're just going to have a nice little look through everything, and oh, perverts galore. Bit rude, game? Then again, to be fair, Fern. And there we go. Valley of Memories. Which is so cute. And then we get to see all of the UMA. And what I do quite like about this is that in some instances you get to see the insides of the UMA, which can be quite fascinating. Also, I like how the Lotus Fruit Oni was holding a film reel, which is quite fitting. So the nice thing about this is also that it shows you where you can find them, how much life they have, i.e. how many hits it takes to get rid of them. And it's just quite fun, and also some of these little bits of art are just really super cute. Particularly anything to do with the Oni, because, you know, they are just ultra cute. Obviously evil and terrifying, but cute. They're adorably evil, shall we say. Oni moving, oh my god. Also, expect lots of puns. Lots of puns indeed. And it's at this point where I was just like, oh yeah, so it is mush. Except the fact that I seem to think it was much a while ago, like when we first fought them. But I think that was just because you've got tiny, well, shrunken screen, because obviously, well, not obviously, but I record my commentary inside of my video editor because it makes sure everything's synced up anyway, and because it allows me to do that, and it works quite well for me. But sometimes the quality drops so that it can actually keep up, and sometimes that means that smaller text gets a little bit difficult to read. So that was interesting. Also, I love that. Super fluffy, but incredibly evil. So, it's just, as I've said many a time, I always like it when games provide this sort of stuff for you, because it's, in some ways it's a behind the scenes look, more so this stuff than anything else. But other times it's just fun little extras for you to pick up and look at, and I am always a fan of whenever they can offer extras in this sort of form, because they're fascinating. Also, I don't know whether that was a slight flaw, or a bit of code that managed to make its way into actual text. Because obviously that's King Richie Reach, but obviously it thought it's just player name equals 0. Tut game. Also, that's a bit dark, isn't it? And to be fair, like, it says take it out with arrows for the UFO, but I always found it much easier to just send in my soldiers, because they leapt on top of it and just destroyed it. And that just worked out perfectly. And I'd say we did take down quite a lot of dragons over the course of our journey, and that is all of the UMA that we've ever faced. And then we get to look at the lovely gourmet book, which is quite hilarious. It'll melt in your mouth, oh dear. So you get quite a few rather random things in here, and it's all in good fun, really. Looks like a dude with hamburger patty hair, and he'll get angry when teased. Reverts things to normal. How strange. But yeah, you get stuff from all over the world. All of them have doodles, and it's all quite fun. So I suppose whilst this is going on, I should probably go over in a little bit more detail some of the theories, I suppose, behind the end of the game. Because it's the one thing that people do struggle with, as I said. I mean, so there's a topic on game FAQs, which somebody created just to deal with sort of interpretations, and the person who created the thread, their theory was the kid was lonely from the introductory sequence, so Kurobo. The rats are perhaps a symbol of what makes him lonely, trauma from the death of his grandfather, shyness, whatever. However, he dreams that he becomes the king of a great kingdom so that he'd no longer be lonely. The ending is where it all comes home. His dream enters reality, in that he learns that through the power of imagination, he can be happy in real life, not just his dreams. And he conquers his loneliness in the form of the rats and finds a friend in his own imagination, which is quite cute. Somebody else stated that they think that the ending's pretty straightforward, because most of the characters were all representations of people he knew in real life. Haza was his beloved grandfather who died, Shishke Babu was his teacher who he had little respect for, Duvrok was his neglected drunken uncle who was apparently capable of even losing his own daughter, Jumbo Champlin was the manifestation of all the boring priorities in life, i.e. work. Long Sauvage and Omelette were strange neighbours who, in the eyes of the child, were plain intimidating and petty. And TV dinner is essentially what every kid who doesn't know better thinks TV is. A bunch of people living inside a box trying to brainwash you. The loneliness of Kurobo is pretty obvious, but the whole point of Hauser, Verd and so on and so forth was to make him remember that he wasn't alone. And obviously, if Verd's anything to go by, it's probably just some other kid who liked him, which he was just too withdrawn to even notice. And then obviously the Rat King was meant to represent the culmination of all of the sins/evils that the child believed existed in his own world. So that all works out quite nicely, I feel. And obviously you've got the whole thing of all of the kings in the game related to sins, and then the Rat King is the culmination of those sins, as you would expect. And it's actually quite important then that Kurobo just throws all of those sins out the window. They don't matter to him any longer. So he literally throws away all of his negative thoughts and is a kind of literal representation of what we experienced, figuratively. So that works out quite nicely, really. But it's very dark, because obviously the Rat King swallows your queen whole, and obviously she doesn't come back out, because she gets tossed out along with the rat, which means it's probably digested alive along with pretty much all of our troops, which is just like, oh. I remember getting to that point and just thinking, oh god, Apricot, because obviously I'd taken Apricot with me because I thought Apricot was quite lovely, and I was just like, oh no, oh god. and it's quite horrifying. I remember reading somewhere, probably just rumour, probably complete rubbish, but somebody said that if you took Spumoni with you, then you didn't have to face down the Rat King because he just choked on Spumoni, which sounds quite hilarious. I doubt it would be the case, but it was just something that was quite funny. But yeah, there's also the whole thing of it was all just a dream anyway. That's an idea behind the ending. And yeah, it's just all quite simple stuff, really. And something that I feel I should point out is that, so, this is moving away from the whole ending thing and moving on to stuff you can learn from TV tropes, because it's very helpful. So, after you beat the game for the first time, and you then unlock Tyrant Mode, amongst other features, Pancho, who previously only spoke in moos, will talk to you casually in English. So basically he'll go, "Moo moo moo, what's up, Korobo? I'm Poncho, how you doing? Sorry I kept it a secret from you all this time. I can actually talk, but I kept quiet about it. Now that you're trying out the Tyrant Mode, I thought that I should greet you formally. I'm so glad you made it to the ending. It may be a bit late, but congratulations. Now then, welcome to Tyrant Mode. It's gonna get hard, so be prepared." Which is quite cute. And yes, so that's pretty much all I have really got. But obviously the Vita version of the game, the New Little King story, changes things up in regards to the ending, because the location of the final boss is actually your castle, or at least Korobo's castle, the one that you escaped at the beginning of the game, which just seems a little bit odd, but But anyway, we're into the Tunesmith book, so if you didn't get the chance to hear what these people were singing, this is your time. La 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 la. And also these are all of the descriptions that I was using for the songs. So that's quite fun. And also, restaurant at the end of the universe. Love that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. Such a great series of books, that. And just so funny. And the bolero. Oh, I do love a good bolero. I mean, the reason why that's so stuck in my head as a song is because of the whole Torval and Dean thing, because Torval and Dean hailed from Nottingham, which is obviously where I come from, and so they're a big part of Nottingham culture in a way, because they got, I think it was the first straight sixes in doubles ice skating at the Winter Olympics with the bolero. It's an iconic piece of ice skating, and it's awesome. Also, I still find it hilarious that they just went round going to people, could you just sing the start of a classical piece of music? Be helpful. See how far you can go. See what you remember. And also it's just because people do different things. Because you've got some people going na 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 na. You've got some people going da 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 da. And you got other people kind of going da 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 da, and just shoving in all these random little bits, and it's quite fascinating to see how people try to go through classical. It's that whole thing of how do you describe music? I mean, generally it's you hum it or you da 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 it, because that's generally the easiest way to convey a tune. Obviously we're going to be here for a little bit because obviously because we've got to listen to a reasonable amount of all of these, because they're kind of important. Well, not really important, but I want you to hear all of this. So, to be fair, I have very little else to talk about at this point, which is kind of ridiculous considering, you know, I have another half-hour part, because as well as listening to all of this and looking at some of the things that you can, well, some of the special paintings that you can put up around your castle, we've also got to go through all of the art pieces. Because, yeah, we unlocked all of those. And obviously we need to give everyone a spotlight, because I kind of just rushed through them when we picked them all up. Which I kind of feel slightly bad about, but just wanted to get on with it at the time. It was all fine. And just coming back to the Two-Smith book, I do wonder why they decided to repeat certain songs, because it's just like, but surely you could have gone for unique all the way down, because there's enough classical pieces of music to do that with. I mean, you could easily have found 30 pieces of classical music to do this with, because there are certainly 30 pieces of classical music that are famous, easily. I mean, obviously you've got Land of Hope and Glory, da 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 da. That's one. Obviously you've got da 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 la 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 da 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 da, and so on and so forth. And also, I have to say, I am quite fond of all these little doodles at the bottom of these pictures, because they are all quite cute and quite funny. Because they're all slightly loopy, slightly bizarre, very much in line with Little King's story in general, and I'm totally okay with that. A little bit of weirdness just is always good in my mind.
Bye, 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 bye.
Good old funeral march. Perhaps in these you could probably tell people who are more used to singing than others. Because there's some people who you can tell have got a little bit of a stronger musicality, shall we say. Like this gentleman here. He clearly knew what he was doing. And there we go, that is the last tune in the Tunesmith book. And we've got very little else to look at now, because we've just got the Jewel book, which is obviously very small, because there are only 7 items in here, which I am totally fine with. Also, I like how it's Akuma Marine. Oh, that's perfect. And the fact that it's evil as well. Oh, that's just wonderful. So they're all slightly negative, to be fair, which is kind of ridiculous. Now, obviously there's all doodles here, which are all awesome and special. There are actually different doodles and different pieces of text, depending on how close you are to completing the thing. So if you're at 0 stars, if you're at 1, 2, 3. However, rather irritatingly, by the time you unlock Princess Martell, in all likelihood, you will have gone past a large number of these records. So it's likely that you are never going to see some of that earliest bits of flavour text, which is kind of ridiculous. Now, obviously, we can look at the God memos and the letters that they sent us, if you so choose to. But now, this is the bit that I did just before I ended, because I just want to show you all of the paintings that you can choose. So you can use pretty much all of the enemy, all of the UMA pictures, or the majority of them anyway. You can use a selection of the art pieces. You can use Princess Apricot's Wonder Spots, and so on and so forth. And then depending on, well, once you have beaten a king, or you have saved a princess, basically the same thing, then you will unlock these special paintings as well. Obviously, since we've already gone through all the Wonder Spots and the animals and the UMAs, and we are going to go through all of the art pieces, I'm not going to show them off, but I felt it worthwhile to show these off, because otherwise you aren't going to get to see them. And they are really cool pieces of artwork, I really do like them. Because they're all really awesome, and they really do capture the essence of each of these characters. And if I could be bothered, I would totally go put them all up around the castle, but that would just take so much time, and it's not worth it. We've finished the game now. There's literally no need. And there we go, that pretty much covers it. So I think let's put it to the painting that I was, well, ended up having at the end, which was that one of little King Richie surrounded by all of his harem, shall we say. And hopefully you will join me next time when we look at all of the art pieces. I'll see you then.